I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder of Generation PR, and I'm the creator of the Profitable PR Pros community, where we provide resources of all kinds for PR pros to become pitching powerhouses and to grow and scale profitable PR agencies. This topic of taking time off over the holiday season has come up year after year that I've been supporting the PR community. And it's typically newer agency owners that they feel guilty, especially on the retainer model, if they are taking time off and they feel like maybe there's 2 weeks out of the year or out of the month that they're getting paid for that they're not actually working. So I want to give you an approach that will make you feel comfortable and will help you handle clients and handle your team so that you can go into the new year refreshed, take that time, spend time with your family for the holidays, recharge. There's kind of two approaches, and you can decide what's right for you. But I want you to know that it is possible and it is your right to do this. Like, you have to do it and be okay with it. And if you have, my thinking is, if you have a client that cannot handle the fact that you are spending time during the holidays like the rest of everyone else, like especially Christmas through New Year's, just sort of off the grid, that's not a client I want to be working with. I mean, that's kind of unreasonable, and I don't want to deal with a client that's like, no, you can't. So is it possible to take time off from your PR agency over the holidays? Yes. Spoiler alert, I already told you that. And how do you do it the right way? So how do you prepare clients for time off? First of all, don't be afraid, because you should. Take time off for the holidays. So the reason is we created our own businesses so that we could have flexibility and freedom and, work from where we want, take time off when we want. And I feel like if you feel guilty doing this, then go get a job where your company's office is closed during a certain time. They set that standard and you just do what they say. Go get a job, but you can set the tone for your own business. It's reasonable. It's expected. Don't feel guilty about it. Remember that the way that we position our services on retainer, you're not working hourly. You're working around meeting goals, meeting objectives the clients have, providing an amazing service. You can use that time in December. You have 2 solid weeks or 3 weeks or whatever you decide to do. You're not working hourly. Even if you're on retainer and you take time off, you can still make really good use of that time during the holidays. So 2 approaches. You can let your clients know all the things that you've done to wrap up the year on a high note, start the next year on a bang, with a bang, so you're ready to go right after the first of the year. So you're ready to rock. One of the things we did this year that's been really good, I mean, I don't know why it took us this long to do this, but we were trying to renew a client's contract, and they said, we're kind of not sure what we're doing in 2022. We're working on budget. Let's go month to month. And we were like, don't love that. But they said, we'll talk about the contract, coming up for 2022. So we set a strategy planning session so that we're doing this the first 2 weeks of December, and we're going to just weasel our way into every initiative they have for 2022 and become an integral part. We're going to tell them the what, but not the how of the strategies we're going to implement to ensure their launches are successful, to ensure that their goals and, promotions and sales objectives for the new year are successful through our support with PR and social media. So set a strategy planning session so that they feel like December is planning, it's strategy, it's preparing for success in the new year. And my integrator, Miranda, has given us a couple pointers throughout this talk. So I'm going to share some of her thoughts too. She said, consider including a section on holidays in your onboarding or your client welcome kit. So it's reasonable to take this time off. Clients will typically close their offices during this time anyway, right? They're usually closing their offices anyway. So you can take off Christmas between Christmas and New Year and come back on that following Monday. Sometimes New Year's is like a Friday, and then you have the weekend. And then like New Year's Eve is like a Thursday, New Year's Day is Friday. And you've got all that time the weekend, and you come back on like whatever, January 3rd, and you have so much time. And you come back and you're like back in action. So if you yourself, as the CEO, as the founder, the leader of your business, want to take more time off, have your team ready to support you so that your clients don't feel like they're missing out on services that they're paying for. But really, in most industries, especially in PR and media, it's very, very common. It's kind of understood that week between Christmas and New Year is dark or kind of out of office. So the second approach, and I'm going to talk more about this, but I don't even mention it to clients. I don't even tell them what I'm up to. I just don't. And I'll tell you how and why I do that. But setting expectations in advance or saying nothing, and I'll tell you why I do that. But Miranda, my integrator, will send out an announcement email in early November to give clients a list of the upcoming dates that they will be out of office. And her business is different from PR. They're doing like integrator support services, social media management, stuff like that. So this really applies to social media, which should run continuously without a break. So you can explain that you'll be working ahead so that they don't experience an interruption of service, even though they won't be in office. And the only thing that will change for them is that they won't answer emails between certain dates. And you can also let them know if that means you're monitoring social. Typically you should. A lot of people have complaints during that time. So if you're doing customer service through your social media services for clients, you should be dialed in to what's happening on their social, because people will complain that they haven't received their orders. And if you have some standard responses, we had like a customer response matrix that we would prepare for clients if we're managing their kind of just directing them to their internal customer service. But let them know in advance, you're not going to be on email, but you're working ahead. That's Miranda's approach. They will work ahead so that there's a seamless, like the client will never notice that things are not happening. Or that you're not there, because it's all happening. Sorry, it's the exact opposite. You're not there, you're not replying to email, but it's all happening in the background because they have planned in advance for it. That's what Miranda does with me. She runs my social. This whole workflow for my Facebook Lives and like where we post it and all the like things that we do, that's all pre-planned. So if I'm like, I have an idea, she'll say, we can't do that because we're working ahead through the new year. So I have to go like, okay, I'll wait until next year to bring it up again. And she'll be say, put it on the back burner and we'll get back to it. So that's one approach you can do. My two approaches. Number one, you can set expectations with your clients. Say editors are off during this time. They've worked really hard on holiday, wrapping up the year strong, holiday gift guides. And you can say, this time of year is really about wrapping up the year, planning for the new year, letting clients know that it's important to spend time with your family. Make it a positive, like, oh, I'm so excited. We're going to be traveling to my in-laws' house to spend the new year with them. And I love going fishing on the lake. It's like a really special experience. That gives them a heads up, but you're like not saying I'm not reachable. You're saying this is really special and fun for me and I'm really excited. And they can't be like, I don't like that. So that's one way to do it. You can clearly communicate what you're working on during this time period and why certain things can really wait and still be successful until after the new year. So if they ask about something specific, like a certain pitch, you can say, you know what, we do not want to complicate and have our pitches lost in the shuffle or lost in that sort of downtime between the last 2 weeks of the year. This is really important. We want to give it the visibility it deserves. So we're going to pick back up with that after the new year when we know that editors are at their back working on working on pitches, because we know that this is this is downtime, and we are going to be spending this time working on your strategy, planning, wrapping up the year, pulling together maybe an end of year report, something like that, where you can pull together just a big summary of all of the highs and all of the milestones and things that you've done for the year. It could be, press clips, like all of the top mentions you got, just everything for the whole year. So you can really show, like, here it is in one place. We crushed it for you, in case you're forgetting that incredible feature we got for you in February, and also that amazing mention from an influencer that got picked up by 15 media outlets in June. Here it is. Like, this is awesome, right? And you show them everything you've done. So you can use that time to kind of give them an EOI and then send it off to them before the new year. So they have that, and you can be like, we crushed it for you. So clearly communicate. It's about clients not feeling like they're wasting money, but really giving them some clear communication in advance to solve problems before they begin. So you can be really clear about what date you'll be back on. Make sure to be as clear as possible when communicating with them about your time off. And okay, so if you you don't want anything to get lost in the shuffle during the busy season, but let the clients know that it's not productive to be pitching right now unless it's something that's super newsworthy, like breaking news. My clients are products. There's typically not breaking news there. If there is, it's never good. So if that's the case and you do something and you're pitching news desk during breaking news, that's different. But otherwise, pitching will not be productive during this time. And if you do social as a service, you can come at it from a team-based approach and divide up the work during the holidays, and then tell clients that you'll only be monitoring social during certain hours, and that the posts are already created, they're already approved, they're already scheduled and ready to go. And let them know, and you can give them the option to backfill with someone on their team if they want to. Like, that's the customer service role. But in terms of content and putting content out, and the other thing is that if there is negative breaking news, unfortunately, there's so much of that these days. If there is negative breaking news, you have to jump in and stop all of their social posts. It's in poor taste for brands to have all these things on autopilot, promoting and engaging with customers in a very like, what are you doing for the holidays sort of way, when there's really horrible things happening that's breaking news or that are breaking news. Stop the social posts. A lot of brands have been sort of roasted over their continuing like status quo. Let them know that this is how you can make the best use of your time on their behalf during the holidays. Planning ahead, scheduling, programming. And for you, you may want to frame your time off around the idea that news outlets and editors like media, they are also taking time off. So you won't be pitching during that time anyway, because it's not effective for them. It's a waste of time, and it's actually to their detriment because no one's going to see it. So if you have something exciting and you pitch it during that time, it's like it just goes into the void, never to be seen or heard from again, right? So that's one approach. Telling them, letting them know when, letting them know your availability, just being really clear, getting your team to sort of support you and backfill you, or say nothing. Seriously. If you are the type of person who kind of checks in on email and you can fire off a quick email if needed, and you don't feel like it's a big hassle, and your clients really leave you alone in general, they don't bother you with like unnecessary immediate needs, honestly, just don't say anything. And this is actually what I do. Clients don't really get to call the shots on where and when you're working. So if you want to take that time off and you designate a team member to just, you turn on and out of office and they have someone to approach, or you can just say, hey, during this time you can connect with the team if you have any needs. Don't even tell them where you're going. It's assumed it's the holidays, like you're being with your family or whatever. Don't even say anything. So you can say nothing. Okay, that's how you can approach it with clients. Plan, be clear, have a plan in place, let them know why they're not missing out on anything. Let them know, become part of their strategy for 2022 with a strategy call anyway, and then let them know that this month is about strategy. You can create an end of year report, send it off to them. Now, how do you prepare your team for time off? If you have things that your team need to start working on ahead, we recommend starting earlier than you think you need to, like earlier mid-November, to make sure that everything that needs to get done is done in advance. So this is like social media content that you're planning so that it's backfilling. Plan in advance, make sure everything that needs to get done gets done, like advanced social content, strategy for the new year. If you're working with contractors, which is what we do, just Google it, make them aware of when the agency is off and have them let you know their own dates of not working and see if they contradict so that you can be aware, you can have a plan. Make sure to get all of your pitches and follow-up done before you take time off, and consider communicating to your clients that that's what you're doing. You can say nothing. Position it as a positive if you are going to say something to them, okay? So say something like this, like instead of saying, I will not be reachable, the way that you frame it matters. You can say something like, we're driving leads, forward to see what we can convert before the new year. But typically responses are slow during this time, but we're going to see if we can just push any last minute opportunities to fruition. And then, of course, if you are taking time, I already said how you can position it. Not, I am not reachable or we are not available. It's, we're so excited to wrap up the year with some wonderful downtime with family. I typically travel during this time to Torch Lake in Michigan to spend time with my in-laws, and it is my family's most favorite time of year. And that, something that's super positive, because if a client's going to read that and they think like, you're not available, then they suck, right? So you can position it that way, or say like, not I will not be reachable, but like, we're driving leads till the end of the year and we're going to see what we can convert, but nothing new, no new pitches, only follow-ups that are like possible if you think. And then I would also follow up in the new year if nothing happens. Get your client's schedule in advance so that you can give your clients a way to connect with you while you're on break. If there's an emergency and you feel they're not going to abuse it now or in the future, so like having your cell phone and texting you, I personally wouldn't do this. I don't want clients to text me. I had a client that did this, and it was like opening the floodgates, and she was like, I got personal access 24/7. It was not good. But you can let clients know, I will be reachable if you have an emergency, and they're not going to abuse it. And you can also let them know how they can connect with your team if there's something that comes up. So you can offer to give them access to you during this time if you think they're not going to abuse it. Also, just let your team, all of the people that are supporting you, let them know what your agency's holiday dates are, and really set it out there in a way so that they know that that it's important that they have a really good, relaxing holiday season with their loved ones. You can position it to your team in a way that shows them that you want them to really enjoy this time, that you realize it's important and you want them to take time off guilt-free and really have a great time, spend time relaxing with loved ones for the holiday season. And if you're going to do any sort of like holiday party, agency celebration, try to do it the last day before everyone's off for the holidays. Send them off with a warm celebration. Give them holiday gifts during that time. Really give your team that opportunity to recharge and refresh.